Jinwoo Park wiped the sweat from his forehead as he guided his cargo ship toward Nexus Station. The massive structure floated in space like a metal city, with countless ships coming and going from its docking bays. He had made this trip dozens of times before, hauling basic supplies between Earth colonies and the outer rim worlds. It was boring work, but it paid well enough to keep his small ship running. His cargo hold was filled with medical supplies bound for the mining colonies on Kepler 7. Nothing exciting, nothing dangerous. Just another routine delivery that would take him 3 more days to complete. Jinwoo scratched his black hair and checked his instruments one more time before requesting docking permission. "Cargo vessel Dawn Runner, this is Nexus Control," came the response through his comm system. "You are cleared for docking bay 47. Please proceed through security gate Alpha before unloading." "Understood, Nexus Control," Jinwoo replied. He had done this so many times he could do it with his eyes closed. Dock the ship, go through the security scanner, file his cargo manifest, grab a quick meal at the station cantina, then head out to his next destination. Simple and easy. 20 minutes later, Jinwoo walked down the loading ramp of his ship. The docking bay was busy with workers unloading other vessels and preparing cargo for shipment. The air smelled like machine oil and recycled atmosphere. He grabbed his small travel bag and headed toward the security checkpoint. Nexus Station served as the largest trading hub in this sector of the galaxy. Beings from hundreds of different worlds came here to buy, sell, and trade goods. Jinwoo had seen aliens of all shapes and sizes during his visits. Some looked almost human, while others were so strange he could barely understand how they moved around. The security gate stood 30 feet tall, made of some kind of black metal that seemed to absorb light. Ancient symbols were carved into its surface, glowing with a soft blue light. Jinwoo had always wondered who built it, but the station workers just called it precursor technology. Nobody seemed to know much about the precursors except that they had disappeared long ago, leaving behind devices that still worked perfectly. A line of travelers waited to pass through the gate. Jinwoo took his place behind a tall, thin alien with purple skin and 4 arms. The creature carried several containers that clicked and rattled as it moved. In front of the purple alien stood a human woman with short red hair, probably a trader like himself. One by one, people stepped through the scanning gate. A beam of light would sweep over them from head to toe. The gate would beep once and a green symbol would appear on the display panel. Then they would walk through to the other side. The whole process took about 10 seconds per person. The red-haired woman went through without any problems. The purple alien followed, and the gate scanned its 4 arms carefully before giving the approval beep. Then it was Jinwoo's turn. He stepped into the gate opening and stood still as he had done many times before. The scanning beam activated, starting at his head and moving slowly down his body. Jinwoo could feel a slight tingling sensation as the energy passed over him. Nothing unusual there. But then something changed. The scanning beam stopped moving when it reached his chest. Jinwoo frowned and looked up at the display panel. Instead of the usual green approval symbol, the screen showed a series of rapidly changing symbols in languages he did not recognize. The blue glow from the gate's carved symbols began pulsing faster. "Hey, is everything okay?" Jinwoo called out to the security guard stationed nearby. The guard, a stocky alien with gray skin and 6 arms, looked up from his data pad. His name tag read Keeper Thex in both human letters and alien script. He had been working this checkpoint for as long as Jinwoo had been visiting the station, and nothing ever seemed to surprise him, but now Keeper Thex was staring at the display panel with all 6 of his eyes wide open. "I have never seen this before," Thex said in accented galactic standard. His voice carried a tone of confusion and maybe a little fear. "The gate is scanning much deeper than normal. Please remain still, human Jinwoo." The scanning beam continued its work, but now it was moving much more slowly. Jinwoo could feel it probing deeper into his body, as if it was looking for something specific. The tingling sensation grew stronger, and he started to feel warm all over. Other travelers in line began to notice the delay. Voices rose in several different languages as aliens complained about the holdup. Some moved to other security gates, but many stayed to watch what was happening. The display panel continued cycling through different alien languages at an increasing speed. Jinwoo caught glimpses of symbols that looked familiar from his basic xenolinguistics training, but most were completely foreign to him. The carved symbols on the gate itself were now glowing so brightly that several people had to shield their eyes. Keep her Thex, Jin Woo said, trying to keep his voice calm. Maybe I should step out and try a different gate. No, please do not move, Thex replied quickly. The scanner is still active. Moving now could damage both you and the equipment. Suddenly, all the displays went dark. The scanning beam shut off and the carved symbols stopped glowing. For a moment, complete silence filled the security area. Jinwoo could hear his own heartbeat in the quiet. Then with a soft chime, the display panel lit up again. But instead of showing the usual green approval symbol, it displayed text in clear galactic standard letters that everyone could read. Subject survived the ultimate extinction. Below that, in smaller letters, more text appeared. Genetic markers confirmed. Alert status maximum priority. Notify Hegemony Command immediately. Jinwoo stared at the display in complete confusion. What does that mean? He asked. What is the ultimate extinction? Keeper Thex was backing away from the security gate, all 6 of his arms trembling slightly. Other security guards were running toward the checkpoint, speaking rapidly into their communication devices. I do not know, Thex said in a whisper, but I have worked with this gate for 30 years and I have never seen it give such a reading. The ultimate extinction is mentioned in very old stories. Most people think it is just a legend. The security area was now filling with station personnel. Jin Woo could see supervisors and technicians pushing through the crowd of onlookers. Someone was shouting orders in a language he did not understand. Look, there must be some mistake, Jin Woo said, raising his voice to be heard over the growing noise. I'm just a cargo hauler from Earth. I transport medical supplies and food packages. Nothing exciting. I've been through this gate dozens of times before without any problems. But even as he said it, Jin Woo knew that something fundamental had changed. The way people were looking at him now was different. There was fear in their eyes, but also curiosity and something that might have been respect. A new figure approached the security gate. She was human, with long black hair tied back in a practical ponytail, wearing the blue uniform of the station's research division. Her name tag identified her as Dr. Yuna Kim, senior xenoarchaeologist. Mr. Park, she said in Korean, which surprised him. My name is Dr. Kim. I need you to come with me immediately. We have a lot to discuss, and I'm afraid we don't have much time. Time for what? Jin Woo asked, also switching to Korean. Dr. Kim looked around at the growing crowd, then back at the display panel that still showed its impossible message. Time to figure out why a piece of technology that's older than most civilizations in this galaxy thinks you survived, something that supposedly killed everything in the known universe. 65 million years ago. Before Jin Woo could ask any more questions, alarms began sounding throughout the station. Red lights flashed in the corridors beyond the security checkpoint, and automated announcements in multiple languages filled the air. Jin Woo Park, simple cargo hauler, realized that his boring, routine life had just come to an end. Dr. Yuna Kim led Jin Woo through the busy corridors of Nexus Station. Emergency lights flashed overhead as station personnel rushed past them, carrying equipment and data pads. Jin Woo had never seen the station in such chaos. Usually Nexus was calm and organized, but now it felt like everyone was preparing for war. Dr. Kim, Jin Woo said as they walked quickly toward the research section. What exactly is the ultimate extinction? And why does that scanner think I survived it? Yuna glanced around to make sure no one was listening before she answered. The ultimate extinction is supposed to be a legend. Ancient stories say that 65 million years ago, something killed every advanced species in the galaxy, completely wiped them out. When new civilizations developed later, they found ruins and artifacts but no survivors. They entered a secure lift that required Yuna's identification card to operate. As the doors closed, she continued speaking. The precursors built scanning technology that could identify genetic markers from before the extinction event. But no one has ever triggered those scanners before you. Most people thought the scanners were broken, or that the extinction stories were just myths. The lift opened onto a research level that Jin Woo had never seen before. The corridor was lined with laboratories filled with strange equipment and alien artifacts. Scientists and researchers worked behind transparent walls, studying objects that glowed with their own inner light. If the extinction really happened, Jin Woo said, then how could anyone have survived it? And how could I be related to survivors? Before Yuna could answer, the corridor filled with the sound of heavy boots. A squad of soldiers in black armor marched toward them, their weapons ready but not aimed. Jinwoo recognized the uniform insignia of the hegemony, the galaxy's governing body. The soldier in front removed her helmet, revealing a stern face with sharp features and cold blue eyes. Her rank insignia showed that she was a high-ranking officer. "Dr. Kim," the officer said in perfect galactic standard, "I am Commander Valdris of the Hegemony Inquisition Force. You will surrender the human immediately." "Commander," Yuna replied carefully, "Mr. Park is under station research protection. He has not committed any crime. That determination is not yours to make," Valdris said. "The Inquisition has authority over all matters involving pre-extinction artifacts and anomalies. This human will come with us for questioning." Jinwoo stepped forward, trying to keep his voice steady. "I haven't done anything wrong. I'm just a cargo hauler. There must be some mistake with your scanner." Commander Valdris studied Jinwoo with intense interest. "The precursor scanners do not make mistakes, human. They are more advanced than any technology we possess today. If the scanner identified you as carrying pre-extinction genetic markers, then you are either the most important discovery in galactic history, or the most dangerous." "Dangerous?" Jinwoo asked. "How am I dangerous?" "I transport medical supplies." "Because," Valdris said, "if you truly carry genetic memory from before the ultimate extinction, then you potentially have access to the knowledge and technology that existed before the galaxy was wiped clean. That kind of power could destabilize every government and civilization in known space." 2 more squads of Inquisition soldiers appeared at both ends of the corridor. Jinwoo realized that resistance would be impossible. These were not station security guards with basic training. These were elite military forces trained to handle the most dangerous threats in the galaxy. "I'll go with you," Jinwoo said, "but I want Dr. Kim to be present during any questioning. She's the expert on precursor technology." Commander Valdris considered this for a moment. "Acceptable. Dr. Kim, you will accompany us to provide technical analysis. But understand that this investigation is now classified at the highest levels. You will not discuss what you learn with anyone outside the Inquisition." They escorted Jinwoo to a secure section of the station that he had never known existed. The corridors here were wider and built from different materials. Everything looked more military and less commercial than the rest of Nexus Station. The questioning room was plain and white, with only a table and several chairs. Advanced scanning equipment lined the walls, much more sophisticated than the precursor gate at the security checkpoint. "Sit down, Mr. Park," Valdris said. "We need to know everything about your family history, especially your grandparents and great-grandparents." Jinwoo sat in the indicated chair while Dr. Kim activated her recording equipment. "My family is not very interesting," he said. "My parents were both cargo pilots like me. My grandfather on my father's side was named Lee Dong-soo." "Tell me about this grandfather," Valdris said, leaning forward. "He died when I was young, but my father told me stories about him. Dong-soo was found as a baby drifting in space near Earth's outer solar system. A deep space patrol found his escape pod and brought him to Earth. No one ever figured out where he came from." Dr. Kim and Commander Valdris exchanged glances. "When did this happen?" Yuna asked. "About 90 years ago," Jinwoo replied. "Earth had just started exploring beyond our solar system. Finding a human baby in space was considered impossible, but the genetic tests proved he was human." "Genetic tests from 90 years ago were very basic," Valdris said. "Modern analysis might reveal much more. Dr. Kim, I want you to run a complete genetic profile on Mr. Park immediately." The scanning process took 2 hours. Jinwoo had to provide blood samples, tissue samples, and submit to deep body scans that mapped every cell in his body. The equipment was so advanced that he could feel it analyzing him down to the molecular level. When the results appeared on Dr. Kim's screens, she stared at them in silence for several minutes. "Commander," she said finally, "these readings are impossible." "Explain." "Jinwoo's DNA contains genetic markers from not just pre-extinction humans, but from at least 12 other extinct species. His genetic code is like a library of civilizations that died out 65 million years ago." Valdris stood up abruptly. "That is not possible. No being could carry genetic information from multiple extinct species. Unless," Dr. Kim said slowly, "the extinction event was not what we think it was. These genetic markers suggest that before the ultimate extinction, different species were somehow connected. Maybe even merged." Jinwoo felt dizzy as he tried to understand what they were saying. "Are you telling me that I'm not really human?" You are human, Yuna assured him. But you're also something more. Your bloodline carries genetic memory from civilizations that existed before the galaxy was destroyed and reborn. Commander Valdris activated her communication device. This is Valdris to Inquisition Command. Code 7 alert. Request immediate deployment of the full investigation fleet. We have confirmed pre-extinction genetic markers in a living subject. The response came back immediately. Confirmed, Commander. Fleet deployment authorized. Estimated arrival in 6 hours. Valdris turned back to Jinwoo. Mr. Park, you are now the most important being in the galaxy. Every government, every species, every faction will want to study you, control you, or eliminate you. The Inquisition will protect you, but in return, you will help us understand what really happened 65 million years ago. Before Jinwoo could respond, alarms began sounding throughout the secure section. A voice over the intercom announced, "Alert! Alert! Unknown ships approaching Nexus Station. All military personnel to battle stations." Dr. Kim checked her scanner readings and her face went pale. "Commander, I'm detecting energy signatures that match precursor technology. Multiple ships closing fast." "That's impossible," Valdris said. "No one has working precursor ships." "Apparently someone does," Yuna replied. "And they're heading straight for us." Jinwoo realized that his simple life as a cargo hauler was not just over. It had never really existed at all. Whatever he really was, forces across the galaxy were already moving to find him. The hunt had begun. The unknown ships surrounding Nexus Station did not attack. Instead, they simply waited in formation, their hulls gleaming with the same blue glow as the precursor scanning gate. Jinwoo watched them through the observation window of his secure quarters, trying to understand what was happening to his life. Commander Valdris entered the room carrying a data pad and looking more worried than before. "Mr. Park, we've identified the ships. They belong to the Zentari Collective, but their technology has been modified with precursor systems. They're requesting permission to send a diplomatic team to meet with you." "The Zentari are the mind readers, right?" Jinwoo asked. He had heard stories about the psychic alien species but had never met one. "They prefer to be called empaths," Dr. Kim said as she joined them. "The Zentari can sense thoughts and emotions, but they cannot control minds. They're requesting to send their most skilled healer to help you access genetic memories." Jinwoo frowned. "What genetic memories?" "That's what we need to find out," Valdris replied. "Your DNA contains information from extinct civilizations, but that information is locked away in parts of your genetic code that humans don't normally use. The Zentari might be able to help you remember things your ancestors experienced." 3 hours later, Jinwoo found himself in a different room with softer lighting and more comfortable furniture. The Zentari healer was unlike any alien he had ever seen. She stood 7 feet tall, with pale silver skin and large eyes that seemed to contain swirling colors. Her voice was gentle and musical when she spoke. "I am Wise Singer Keth," she said. "Do not fear the process, Jinwoo Park. I will only help you find memories that are already within you." Dr. Kim monitored the session with her equipment, while Commander Valdris watched from the corner. Jinwoo lay on a comfortable couch as Wise Singer Keth placed her long-fingered hands on his temples. "Relax," she said. "Let your mind drift backward. Not to your own memories, but to older ones. Memories in your blood." At first, Jinwoo felt nothing unusual. Then gradually images began forming in his mind. But they were not his images. They were older, stranger, and filled with technology he had never seen before. He saw massive cities floating in space connected by bridges of pure energy. Beings of different species worked together, their minds linked in ways that made them stronger than any individual could be alone. The technology around them was beautiful and organic, growing like living things rather than being built like machines. "I can see them," Jinwoo said, his eyes still closed. "Different species, but they're all connected somehow. They're working together on something huge. What are they building?" Dr. Kim asked softly. The images shifted, showing Jinwoo enormous constructions in deep space. Not ships or stations, but something else entirely. Networks of energy that stretch between star systems, connecting whole regions of the galaxy. "It's not a building," he said. "They're connecting minds across space, linking different worlds so that all the intelligent species can share knowledge instantly." Wise Singer Keth's voice took on a note of concern. "I sense something approaching in the memory, something that frightens them greatly." The peaceful images suddenly changed. Jinwoo saw beings running in panic, their beautiful cities going dark, the energy network shutting down. But this was not an attack by enemies. It was a controlled shutdown. "They're destroying everything," Jinwoo said, his voice filled with the terror he was experiencing through genetic memory. "But not because they're being attacked. They're hiding from something. What are they hiding from?" Valdris asked urgently. The memories became darker and more frightening. Jinwoo saw images of space itself being torn apart, of reality changing in ways that hurt to look at. Something was coming from outside the galaxy, something that fed on consciousness and intelligence. "Devourers," he whispered. "They call them the Devourers. They eat minds, consume entire civilizations by feeding on their thoughts and knowledge. The more advanced a species is, the more attractive they are to these things." The genetic memories showed him the desperate plan of the ancient civilizations. Rather than fight the Devourers and give them more minds to consume, they chose to fake their own extinction. Advanced species would go into hiding or flee to other galaxies, while leaving behind only primitive life forms. "The ultimate extinction was not real," Jinwoo said, opening his eyes. "It was a cover story. The advanced species made it look like they all died, but really they escaped." Dr. Kim was recording everything frantically. "But some stayed behind?" Jinwoo nodded, the memory still flowing through his mind. Guardians. Selected beings from each species who would stay hidden until the Devourers moved on to other galaxies. Then they would help guide the development of new civilizations, making sure they grew strong enough to defend themselves but stayed hidden until the time was right. "And your grandfather was one of these guardians?" Valdris asked. "His family line was," Jinwoo replied. "But something went wrong. The guardians were supposed to stay in contact with each other, but many lines were lost over millions of years. My grandfather's family survived, but they forgot their true purpose." Wise singer Keith removed her hands from Jinwoo's temples. There is more in his genetic memory, but accessing it too quickly could damage his mind. He needs time to process what he has already learned. Commander Valdris activated her communication device. Priority message to Inquisition Command. The ultimate extinction was a deliberate deception. Repeat, the extinction event was planned. We need immediate analysis of all precursor sites and artifacts. Dr. Kim looked up from her recordings. Commander, if Jinwoo's memories are accurate, then there are probably other Guardian bloodlines still alive. Humans who carry genetic markers like his. How many? Valdris asked. Unknown, but if the plan worked correctly, there should be Guardians from multiple species scattered throughout the galaxy. They might not even know what they are. Jinwoo sat up slowly, his head spinning from the experience. There's something else. The memories show that the Devourers move in cycles. They consume everything they can find in a galaxy, then move on to the next one. But eventually they come back. Come back when? Valdris asked with growing alarm. Jinwoo closed his eyes and searched the genetic memories for more information. The cycle takes about 65 million years. They're due to return soon. The room fell silent as everyone absorbed the implications. If the Devourers were returning, then the entire galaxy was in danger from an enemy that had already destroyed advanced civilizations once before. How soon is soon? Dr. Kim asked quietly. Jinwoo concentrated on the memories, trying to find more specific information. Suddenly his eyes snapped open in fear. They're already on their way, he said. The deep space monitoring stations should be detecting reality distortions at the galaxy's edge. The Devourers are coming, and we have maybe 5 years before they reach the core worlds. Commander Valdris was already activating emergency protocols. All Inquisition fleets to full alert. Contact every major government and inform them of the situation. We need to begin immediate preparations for galaxy-wide defense. Defense against what? Jinwoo asked. The memories show that fighting them directly only makes them stronger. They feed on conflict and organized resistance. Then what do? Valdris demanded. Jinwoo stood up, feeling the weight of 65 million years of genetic memory settling into his consciousness. We do what my ancestors were trained to do. We wake up the other Guardians, activate the hidden precursor systems, and prepare to use the real plan. Which is, not to fight the Devourers, Jinwoo said, but to teach them that this galaxy is no longer worth consuming. The hunt for Jinwoo was about to become a hunt for the truth, and time was running out for everyone. Jinwoo's peaceful sleep was interrupted by explosions. Emergency lights flooded his quarters as the station shook under weapon fire. Through his window, he could see ships with black hulls and red markings attacking the Zentari vessels that had been protecting Nexus Station. Commander Valdris burst into his room wearing full combat armor. "We need to move now. The Voidstalkers have found you." "Who are the Voidstalkers?" Jin Woo asked as he quickly got dressed. "Religious fanatics," Valdris replied while checking her weapon. "They believe that anything connected to the ultimate extinction is cursed and must be destroyed. They've been hunting down precursor artifacts for thousands of years, and now they know about you." Dr. Kim appeared in the doorway carrying a bag of research equipment. "Jin Woo, I've contacted a smuggler friend of mine. She can get us off the station, but we need to reach her ship before the Voidstalkers break through the station's defenses." They ran through corridors filled with smoke and debris. Station security forces were fighting desperate battles against invaders in dark armor, who moved like shadows. The Voidstalkers used weapons that made no sound but left their target simply gone, as if they had never existed. "This way," Valdris shouted over the noise of battle. "Emergency docking bay 12. They reached the docking bay just as a small fast ship was preparing to launch. The cargo ramp lowered and a young woman with short black hair waved them aboard. "Hurry up," she called. "I'm Captain So-Min Choi, and my ship Lightning Dancer is the fastest smuggling vessel in this sector. But we need to leave right now." Jin Woo, Dr. Kim, and Commander Valdris ran up the ramp as weapon fire erupted around them. The ship launched immediately, accelerating away from Nexus Station at dangerous speeds. "Where can we go?" Jin Woo asked as they strapped themselves into acceleration couches. "Anywhere but here," So-Min replied from the pilot seat. "The Voidstalkers have been planning this attack for months. They knew exactly where to find you, which means they have sources inside the hegemony." Commander Valdris looked grim. "That's impossible. Inquisition security is absolute." "Apparently not," Dr. Kim said, monitoring her instruments. "I'm detecting at least 20 Voidstalker ships pursuing us, and they're using some kind of tracking technology I don't recognize." So-Min pushed her engines to maximum power, but the pursuing ships were keeping pace. "These aren't normal Voidstalkers," she said. "Their ships are too advanced. Someone has been upgrading their technology." Suddenly, Jin Woo felt a strange sensation in his head. The genetic memories were stirring, responding to some kind of external stimulus. Images flashed through his mind of technology he had never seen before, but somehow understood. "Captain Choi," he said urgently, "take us to the nearest asteroid field." "That's a death trap with these pursuit ships," So-Min replied. "Trust me," Jin Woo said. "I know how to lose them." Reluctantly, So-Min changed course toward a nearby asteroid belt. The pursuing ships followed, closing the distance as Lightning Dancer weaved between floating rocks and debris. "We're trapped," Valdris said as enemy ships surrounded them on all sides. Jin Woo unbuckled his harness and moved toward the ship's control panel. "May I?" he asked So-Min. "You're not a pilot," she protested. "No, but my genetic memories include beings who built ships like this," Jin Woo replied. "Please let me try something." So-Min reluctantly moved aside. Jin Woo placed his hands on the control interface and immediately felt a connection he had never experienced before. The ship's systems responded to his touch in ways that seemed impossible. "How are you doing that?" Dr. Kim asked as the ship's displays showed technical readouts in languages none of them recognized. "The precursor technology in this ship is responding to the genetic markers in my DNA," Jin Woo explained. "Most smuggling vessels have some precursor components because they're so reliable, but no one knows how to fully activate them." Jin Woo's hands moved over the controls with growing confidence. The ship's engines began producing a different kind of energy, and Lightning Dancer started moving through space in ways that defied physics. "Impossible," Commander Valdris breathed. "We're phasing in and out of normal space-time." The pursuing Voidstalker ships tried to follow, but their sensors could no longer track Lightning Dancer's position. Within minutes, Jin Woo had guided them completely away from the enemy forces. "How did you learn to do that?" So-Min asked in amazement. "I didn't learn it," Jin Woo replied. "I remembered it. The genetic memories in my DNA include technical knowledge from the civilization that built the precursor technology. I'm starting to understand how their systems work." Dr. Kim was recording everything frantically. "This changes everything. If you can interface with precursor technology, then you might be able to activate systems that have been dormant for millions of years. Which is exactly why the Voidstalkers want to kill me," Jin Woo said. "They don't want anyone to have access to pre-extinction knowledge." Commander Valdris contacted her superiors to report their escape, but the response was not what she expected. All Inquisition forces are being recalled to core worlds, she announced. The Hegemony Council has decided that you're too dangerous to remain free, Jinwoo. They want to study you under complete containment. And if I refuse, Jinwoo asked, then you become an enemy of galactic security. So-min laughed bitterly. So now we're running from the good guys and the bad guys. Anyone else want to join the hunt for Jinwoo Park? Their question was answered when Dr. Kim's instruments detected 3 more fleets approaching their position. Multiple governments are mobilizing, she reported. The Korthak Empire, the Zephyrian Trade Union, and the Free Colonies Alliance. They all want Jinwoo for themselves. This is getting out of control, Valdris said. We need somewhere safe to plan our next move. Jinwoo closed his eyes and searched his genetic memories for information about safe locations. Gradually, an image formed in his mind of a hidden facility in an unexplored region of space. I know where we can go, he said, but it's going to be dangerous. The memories show a precursor research station that was hidden before the ultimate extinction. It should still be there, and it might have answers about how to stop the Devourers. How do we find it? So-min asked. The same way I operated your ship, Jinwoo replied, by letting the genetic memories guide us. As Lightning Dancer changed course toward the galactic rim, Jinwoo realized that he was no longer just running from his enemies. He was being drawn toward something that his ancestors had left for him to find, something that might be the key to saving the entire galaxy. But first, they had to survive long enough to reach it. Behind them, the combined fleets of a dozen different factions were converging on their last known position. The hunt for Jinwoo Park had become the largest military mobilization in galactic history, and everyone involved was beginning to realize that far more was at stake than the fate of one human cargo hauler. The genetic memories, stirring in Jinwoo's mind, were awakening, something that had been sleeping for 65 million years. And soon the entire galaxy would discover whether that awakening would save them all or destroy them. The chase continued, but now Jinwoo was no longer just the prey. He was becoming something much more dangerous. The hidden precursor facility hung in space like a metal flower, its petals slowly opening as Lightning Dancer approached. Jinwoo had guided them through 3 weeks of hyperspace jumps to reach this forgotten corner of the galaxy, following genetic memories that grew stronger with each passing day. I've never seen architecture like this, Dr. Kim said as she studied the station through their viewports. It's beautiful but completely alien. Not alien to me, Jinwoo replied. My genetic memories recognize this place. It's called the Archive of Choices, and it was built to store information about the decision to fake the ultimate extinction. Captain So-min carefully maneuvered her ship toward the station's docking bay. Are you sure this place is safe? It's been abandoned for millions of years. It hasn't been abandoned, Jinwoo said. It's been waiting. As if responding to his words, the station's lights began activating in sequence, creating patterns that seemed to welcome them. The docking bay opened smoothly, and atmosphere fields activated to allow them to dock safely. Commander Valdris had been quiet during the journey, still struggling with her divided loyalties between the hegemony and her duty to protect Jinwoo. Whatever we find in there, she said, changes everything we know about galactic history. They walked through corridors that adjusted their lighting automatically as they passed. The walls were covered with displays showing star charts, technical diagrams, and symbols in the flowing script of the precursor language. The station is scanning us, Dr. Kim reported as her instruments detected energy fields moving over their bodies. But it's not a security scan. It's trying to understand who we are. Jinwoo placed his hand on one of the wall displays, and immediately the entire corridor filled with light. Holographic images appeared around them, showing beings from dozens of different species working together in this very facility. Welcome, genetic inheritor, a voice said in perfect galactic standard. I am the keeper of choices, the artificial consciousness that maintains this facility. We have been waiting for your arrival for 65,400,732 years. You're an AI, So-min asked in amazement. I am the collective consciousness of the Civilization Committee that designed the Exodus Protocol, the Keeper replied. When the decision was made to fake the ultimate extinction, copies of our greatest minds were preserved in this facility to guide future guardians. The holographic displays changed to show the galaxy as it appeared millions of years ago, Vast networks of energy connected thousands of worlds, and different species shared knowledge and resources across unimaginable distances. This was the golden convergence, the Keeper explained. All intelligent species in the galaxy were connected through quantum consciousness links. We shared thoughts, dreams, discoveries, and art across the stars. It was the greatest achievement in galactic history. What went wrong? Jin Wu asked, though his genetic memories were already showing him glimpses of the answer. The Devourers, the Keeper said, and the holographic images turned dark. They exist in the spaces between galaxies, feeding on organized consciousness and intelligence. The more advanced and connected a civilization becomes, the more attractive it is to them. The displays showed terrifying images of reality itself being consumed, of entire star systems vanishing as if they had never existed. The Devourers were not physical beings, but something far worse, entities that fed on the very concept of intelligence and left behind only empty void. We had 3 choices, the Keeper continued. Fight them, and give them even more organized consciousness to consume. Allow them to devour our entire civilization, or disappear so completely that they would find nothing worth consuming. So you chose to fake your own extinction, Dr. Kim said. The Exodus protocol was more complex than simple deception, the Keeper replied. The most advanced species fled to other galaxies where the Devourers had not yet arrived. Others went into deep hiding in dimensions that the Devourers could not easily access. But some had to stay behind. The Guardians, Commander Valdris said. Correct. Carefully selected bloodlines from each species were given genetic memory implants and left behind to guide the galaxy's redevelopment. When new civilizations arose, the Guardians would subtly influence their development, ensuring they grew strong enough to survive but stayed hidden enough to avoid attracting the Devourers. Jinwu stepped closer to the displays, but something went wrong with the plan. Yes, the Keeper said sadly. Many Guardian bloodlines were lost over the millions of years. Others forgot their purpose as the genetic memories became buried deeper in unused DNA. When the time came to begin preparing the galaxy's defenses, most Guardians could not be awakened. How many Guardians are left? Somin asked. The Keeper's display showed a galactic map with scattered points of light. 17 confirmed bloodlines remain intact. Most are human, because your species was one of the last to be modified before the Exodus protocol was implemented. But there are also Guardian bloodlines among the Zentari, the Vorthak, and 3 other species. 17 Guardians against entities that consumed the entire galaxy before, Valdris said grimly. That doesn't seem like enough. The Guardians were never meant to fight the Devourers directly, the Keeper explained. Your purpose is to activate the convergence network. New displays showed the galaxy as it existed in the present, but with hidden energy patterns connecting worlds that had never been detected by modern science. Ancient precursor installations on thousands of planets were revealed, dormant but ready to activate. The convergence network was never destroyed, Jinwu realized. It was just turned off. Precisely. When the Devourers arrive and find an advanced connected civilization, they will begin feeding immediately. But if that civilization suddenly disconnects and becomes primitive again, the Devourers lose interest and move on to find more attractive prey. Dr. Kim was recording everything frantically. You're talking about deliberately reducing the entire galaxy to a pre-technological state. Temporarily, the Keeper corrected. The network can be reactivated once the Devourers have passed through and moved on to other galaxies. But the timing must be perfect, and all 17 Guardian bloodlines must work together to control the shutdown and restart. What if we can't find the other Guardians in time? Jinwu asked. Then the galaxy will be consumed and billions of years of development will be lost, the Keeper replied. The Devourers are already at the galaxy's edge. Deep space monitoring stations are detecting reality distortions that match historical patterns. You have approximately 18 months before they reach the core worlds. Commander Valdris activated her communication system. I need to contact Hegemony Command immediately. This changes everything about our defense preparations. Commander, the Keeper said, you must understand that your government's military preparations are exactly what will attract the Devourers. The more organized and advanced your defenses become, the more appealing you make yourselves as prey. Then what do we do? Valdris demanded. Jinwu felt the genetic memories stirring stronger than ever before. We find the other Guardians. We activate the network, and we make the galaxy disappear just long enough to convince the Devourers that there's nothing here worth consuming. The Keeper's displays showed star charts with the locations of the remaining Guardian bloodlines. Some are aware of their heritage. Others remain completely ignorant. But all must be awakened and brought together if the protocol is to succeed. How long do we have to find them all? So Min asked. The network requires a minimum preparation time of 6 months once all Guardians are assembled. The Keeper replied, which means you have 1 year to locate and awaken 17 people scattered across the entire galaxy. Jinwoo looked around at his companions. The smuggler, the scientist, and the military commander who had all risked everything to help him reach this place. Looks like we're going to need a bigger crew. The hunt is over, he continued, but the real work is just beginning. We need to save the galaxy by making it disappear. The weight of 65 million years of planning settled on Jinwoo's shoulders as he realized that he was no longer running from his destiny. He was embracing it. And the fate of every intelligent being in the galaxy now depended on whether 17 scattered Guardians could remember who they really were in time to save everyone. 11 months later, Jinwoo stood in the command center of the Archive of Choices, watching holographic displays that showed the positions of all 17 Guardian bloodlines across the galaxy. Finding them had been the most difficult task of his life, but now they were all here, awakened and ready to fulfill their ancient purpose. Some had come willingly, like Hai-Jin Lee, a maintenance worker on a mining station, who had started having strange dreams after Jinwoo's story spread through underground networks. Others had needed convincing, like Yuna Song, a successful trader who refused to believe she was anything more than human until the genetic tests proved otherwise. The most difficult to find had been Minho Kang, a hermit living alone on a frontier world, whose genetic memories had awakened spontaneously years ago. He had been hiding from everyone, terrified of the visions showing the galaxy's destruction. Guardian Network Status Report. Jinwoo called out to the Keeper of Choices. All 17 bloodlines are synchronized and ready, the AI replied. Convergence network installations on 4,732 worlds are prepared for activation. Reality anchor points are stable across all sectors. Dr. Kim looked up from her monitoring station. Long-range sensors are detecting massive space-time distortions at the galaxy's outer edge. The Devourers have arrived ahead of schedule. Through the archive's main viewport, Jinwoo could see stars going dark in the distance, not exploding or burning out, but simply ceasing to exist as the Devourers consumed the very concept of their existence. How much time do we have? Commander Valdris asked. She had spent the past months helping to coordinate evacuations of the outer rim worlds, though she still struggled with the idea of deliberately reducing galactic civilization to survive. 6 hours until the Devourers reach the first major populated systems, the Keeper reported. The network must be activated within 4 hours to ensure complete coverage. Captain Somin had been ferrying Guardians to the archive for months, and her ship Lightning Dancer was now permanently docked to serve as an emergency escape vessel. Are we sure this will work? She asked. Making the entire galaxy look primitive seems impossible. The Convergence Network was designed for this exact purpose, Jinwoo replied. When activated, it will project a field that makes all advanced technology appear to be simple, unorganized matter. Space stations will look like asteroids, cities will appear to be natural rock formations, and starships will seem like floating debris. Hai-Jin Lee, one of the newly awakened Guardians, raised his hand nervously. What about us? What happens to all the people? The field affects perception, not reality, Dr. Kim explained. We'll still be here, still alive, but the Devourers won't be able to sense our consciousness or technology. To them, we'll look like primitive animal life on empty worlds. The other Guardians gathered around the central control platform, each taking their position at one of 17 control stations. Jinwoo had spent weeks teaching them to access their genetic memories and interface with precursor technology. But this would be their first real test, Guardians. Prepare for network initialization, Jinwoo announced. Remember, we all have to activate our stations simultaneously, or the field won't cover the entire galaxy. Yuna Song looked worried. What if some of us can't maintain the connection? These genetic memories are still new to most of us. That's why we practiced for months, Jinwoo replied. Trust your ancestors' knowledge. It's been waiting inside you for 65 million years. The archive shuddered as something massive passed nearby. Through the viewport, they could see reality itself bending and twisting as the Devourers approached. Stars and planets were being erased from existence, leaving behind empty voids that hurt to look at. "They're consuming the Kepler sector," Dr. Kim reported. 15 billion people just gone. "Network activation in 60 seconds, the Keeper announced. "All Guardians to positions." Jinwoo placed his hands on the central control interface, feeling the familiar connection to precursor technology flow through his body. Around him, the other 16 Guardians did the same, their faces showing concentration as they accessed genetic memories from civilizations that had died out millions of years ago. 30 seconds, the Keeper said. "Convergence field generators are charging to full power." Commander Valdris was monitoring fleet communications from across the galaxy. Military forces are reporting complete system failures as they try to engage the Devourers. Weapons won't fire, ships won't respond, entire fleets are just disappearing. 10 seconds, the Keeper announced. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Activate. Jinwoo felt power flow through him, unlike anything he had ever experienced. The genetic memories of 17 different species merged with his consciousness, showing him how the ancient civilizations had built the greatest deception in galactic history. Energy poured from the archive of choices, connecting instantly to hidden installations on thousands of worlds. The convergence network came alive for the first time in 65 million years, projecting a field that covered the entire Milky Way galaxy. "Field is stable and holding," Dr. Kim reported, her voice filled with amazement. "All advanced technology signatures are being masked. We're reading as a primitive galaxy with only basic life forms." Through the network, Jinwoo could sense the Devourers moving through space that now appeared empty to them. The entities that fed on consciousness and organized intelligence found nothing that interested them. Where they had expected to find a thriving galactic civilization, they saw only scattered rocks and simple organisms. "It's working," Heijin whispered. "They're not stopping to feed." The Devourers passed through the galaxy like cosmic wind, searching for the organized consciousness they had detected from intergalactic distances. But the convergence network made everything appear primitive and uninteresting. Cities looked like natural rock formations. Starships appeared to be floating debris, and billions of intelligent beings seemed like simple animals. For 6 hours, the 17 Guardians maintained the field while reality-eating entities searched every corner of the galaxy and found nothing worth consuming. Jinwoo felt the strain of channeling such enormous energies, but his genetic memories gave him the strength to continue. Finally, long-range sensors detected the Devourers moving away, heading toward the Andromeda Galaxy, where they would search for more attractive prey. "They're leaving," Dr. Kim announced. "The Devourers are moving on to the next galaxy." Jinwoo carefully powered down the convergence network, feeling exhausted but triumphant. Around him, the other Guardians collapsed into their chairs, drained from the most difficult task any beings had ever attempted. "Network deactivation complete," the Keeper reported. "All technology signatures returning to normal. The galaxy is safe for approximately 65 million years." Commander Valdris was receiving reports from across the galaxy. "All major governments are confirming that their systems are back online. No one was lost during the field activation. We did it," Soman said in disbelief. "We actually made the entire galaxy disappear." Jinwoo looked around at the exhausted Guardians who had risked everything to save trillions of lives. "The Exodus protocol worked, but our job isn't finished. We need to make sure this knowledge isn't lost again." Over the following months, Jinwoo worked with galactic governments to establish the Guardian Council, a new organization dedicated to preserving the truth about the Devourers and maintaining the convergence network. The 17 Guardians became the Council's leadership, ensuring that future generations would be ready when the cosmic threat returned. Dr. Kim was appointed as the Council's chief scientist, tasked with studying precursor technology and training new Guardians from the bloodlines that carried genetic memories. Commander Valdris reformed the hegemony's military forces into a peaceful exploration and defense organization. Captain Somin became the Council's primary courier, using her experience with hidden technology to establish secure communication networks between Guardian bloodlines across the galaxy. 5 years after the Devourers had passed through, Jinwoo returned to Nexus Station. The same precursor scanning gate that had first identified him now displayed a different message as he passed through. Subject confirmed. Ultimate Guardian active. Keeper Thex, still working the security checkpoint after all these years, nodded respectfully. Welcome back, Guardian Park. The galaxy owes you a debt that can never be repaid. Jinwoo smiled as he collected his travel documents. I was just a cargo hauler who happened to carry the right genetic memories. Anyone in my position would have done the same thing. Perhaps, Thex replied, but you were the one who answered the call when it came. As Jinwoo walked through the busy corridors of Nexus Station, he reflected on how much had changed. The various species of the galaxy now worked together more closely, united by the knowledge that they had all survived an extinction-level threat. The Guardian Council maintained watching stations at the galaxy's edge, ready to activate the convergence network again when the time came. But for now, the galaxy was safe. Advanced civilizations could grow and develop, share knowledge and art across the stars, and build connections that would make them stronger together than they could ever be alone. Jinwoo Park had started as a simple freight hauler carrying Medi,